Time for Thursday night with 912 Sports. Our weekly look at Southeast Georgia High School athletics, brought to you by Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Coastal Pines Technical College, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, and Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery with the 912 Sports team. Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, Rob Asbell, Evan Smoke, and Hayden Chambliss. And now, here's the 912 Sports team.
Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined by Kevin Price. I'm kind of on location, a top secret location. I've broken out of the bunker, and me and the wife have taken a camper trip, so that's kind of why you see a little different background here tonight. But so if you hear a dog barking or a leaf blower or kids playing outside the camper, it's just all part of the ambiance here tonight. But appreciate everybody joining us. How you doing tonight, Kevin?
Hey, Sean, I'm doing good. Yeah, I noticed the setup was a little different, and I forgot that you said you were going out of town. But, hey, for a makeshift operation, that looks pretty smooth right there.
Yeah, we try to do it right. So, but should be a great show tonight. Kevin, I don't know about you, but I'm still on a euphoric high from our success of last Thursday night's All Sports Online Award Show. I thought it came off tremendously. We've got nothing but positive reviews from everybody, from grannies and grandpas to mamas and dads to student athletes. Our sponsors, I think, were very happy with the event. But I thought Rob Asbell, our producer, just hit one out of the park last week. And everybody, you guys, Evan, Hayden, just did a fantastic job on pulling off that online award show.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about that at least one more time here tonight. And you did a great job. There's Rob. You did a great job leading the organization, of course. And obviously, it wouldn't have been possible without the help of our sponsors who are back sponsoring the show tonight. And we'll certainly give them some more mention going forward. I really appreciate all the people that tuned in, family and friends. There were a lot of positive comments made in the feed throughout the broadcast. And I think me, you, Hannah, Evan, we all kind of held serve with our presentations. But I tell you what, I'm not bragging just because he's on the screen, but that was an all-star effort by Rob Asbell to produce that show the way he did with all the intros and the outros. It really looked like a primetime broadcast. And, you know, people don't know we've only been doing this for less than a month. So that was a great job on his part. And all the kids, I mean, what great athletes we have in the 912 area. I think as we read off about the award winners, it was just amazing at some of their accomplishments.
Yeah, it really, we're really blessed here in the 912. We're just loaded with talent, and these kids from everything from girls golf to boys basketball and everything in between really have some fine student athletes and doing a great job in the classroom, going to take their talents to the next level, and really looking forward to seeing what some of those guys can do at that next level. And I think we're going to be hearing their names a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're going to actually talk to one of them tonight, and I'll let you introduce her as part of our guest here in a minute. But, yeah, you know, some of the places the seniors are going are interesting. They're all not just here in the South. I mean, you know, we got some basketball players going to the Midwest and some kids going out to the West Coast and kids playing at schools big and small. And I think the underclassmen that may have tuned in or maybe that will tune in at some point just need to realize, hey, if you do the job in the classroom, listen to your teachers and your coaches, and do your best to excel on the playing surface, whether that's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. There could be an opportunity for you at a school, big or small, if they do their part. And all these kids, or a lot of these kids that we honored last week, are certainly in that category. They're going to go on and do bigger and better things, and hopefully continue to represent the 912 area code in a positive way.
Right. And thanks to all the people that watched, Kevin, we had over 1,800 views just from our Facebook page alone. That doesn't count any shares. That doesn't count anywhere anybody else saw it. We've had it posted on our website for a week. So if you hear us talking about it, you hadn't had a chance to look at it, please go to 912sports.net. You can check it out. Just click the link and you can watch the whole show and see what a fantastic job these kids and what Rob Asbell was able to produce. And all of you guys being on camera, like I said, was just over the moon with the effort that we had. And like I said, real proud of the product that we put out there. But we're going to continue this, Kevin, every Thursday night. This is our Thursday night show. We're real excited that we've got some sponsors on board with us to help us to do that. But tonight we've got a great show. We've got 4 great guests. Ware County Gators head coach Jason Strickland's going to be on to talk a little bit about some recruiting. Wayne County and now Georgia Southern freshman runner Hannah Wise, who you mentioned before, one of our winners for girls track for the 912 All Sports Award. She's going to be on here tonight. Ware County baseball coach Jamie Ammons. We're going to spotlight some of the Ware County seniors, or all the Ware County seniors, and talk to him a little bit about summer league and some of the things that are going on. And then coming up next, Kevin, with you is former Glenn Academy head coach Dan Moore. You guys are going to talk a little hoops, talk a little bit about the Last Dance. I know that everybody's been watching, but we're going to be right back here with Thursday nights with 912 Sports. So y'all come on back and join us.
We'll be right back with more of Thursday Night with 912 Sports in just a moment.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school and homeschool students in grades 9 through 12, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Thanks for watching Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Now, let's get back to the team.
All right, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Price on Thursday Night with 912 Sports. And as you can see on our screen is our next guest. I'll introduce him in a moment, but I do want to go back real quick and thank our sponsors for making this possible. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson's Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, and Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross. As we promised, here with us now, as you can see on screen, is former Glenn Academy head basketball coach Dan Moore. And I talked with Coach Moore this week. I basically wanted to bring him on to talk about The Last Dance, which is airing now on ESPN. Of course, it's the documentary about the Chicago Bulls and their great run throughout the 90s. And I thought we'd also parallel that with Dan's teams at Glenn Academy when he had Kwame Brown and some other great players, and just kind of maybe compare and contrast some of the things that maybe he dealt with in a similar way that the Bulls had to deal with things. So we'll talk with Coach Moore about all that. But, Coach, let's go ahead and bring you into the mix. Again, thanks for being here, and we appreciate your time this evening.
Always good to see you, Kevin.
Yeah, we talked for 10 minutes, really much about nothing the other night on the phone. So we're going to try to have a productive conversation in about 10 or 12 minutes here this evening.
I appreciate that.
But Coach, obviously, before we go any further, I mean, I guess I should mention that you are semi-retired. You retired from the Glenn County school system, but you're still teaching PE and also serving as athletic director at St. Simon's Christian School here on St. Simon's Island in Glenn County. And your professional life and your personal life got interrupted, just like all of us, by the COVID-19 pandemic. So just right out of the gate, how are you doing? How are you holding up during this whole thing?
Oh, I'm doing really well. The partial retirement thing, I was going to work 2 days a week at St. Simon's Christian, like you said, and that's been great. The kids are just unbelievably good there. Not to put a plug in, but anybody looking for a school, I promise you that's a good spot. Not to berate any other school, but that's a top quality school after having been there. So I miss those kids. I've been filling my time mostly playing pickleball. I got a whole group. We play at Epworth most of the time, sometimes at Mallory, various times other ways, tournaments and stuff like that. So that's mostly what I've been doing.
Well, that is fun. I played that once, and maybe we can get together and play that and then play some golf at some time too. But Coach, let's dive on in. The Last Dance, of course, it's about the Chicago Bulls. Just for anybody that maybe hasn't watched it, which is probably few, it comes on every Sunday night at 9. It's been coming on for the last 3 weeks. I think there's 2 more weeks left because it's 2 episodes a night. And this coming Sunday is going to be episode 7 and 8. And then the next week will be 9 and 10. And, of course, it goes throughout the 90s. It's based on The Last Dance, the last season of the Chicago Bulls dynasty as we knew it. But it really does a great job of going back. Of course, it's based around Michael Jordan, the star of stars. And it really does a great job of carrying from that season to, all the way back through the 90s. And then kind of goes back into Jordan's history and even Scottie Pippen's history and Dennis Rodman's history and just how it all came together. I think it's great storytelling. It's a great documentary. I've kind of come to live for 9 p.m. on Sunday night. But I know you're a basketball junkie. So just what's your overall impression of The Last Dance?
Well, I think it's tremendous. And I'm not a very good documentary person. I typically do not like them. I don't know why. I probably should. But this one, and it's not just because it's basketball. I've watched other basketball documentaries. They did such a tremendous job making this when they did. And then they obviously took 20 years of editing to get it down. That is just so well done. And it is in depth. They're not just showing the good side or the bad side. They're showing it all the way through. And I think it's well worth the time to watch it.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Coach, as you know, I think a lot of people are watching this, and it would get good play anyway because the Bulls were one of the greatest teams of all time, certainly in basketball, but really sports in general. And, of course, Michael Jordan, everybody wanted to be like Mike and, still does, I guess. And that commercial just will always resonate with me. But, he was certainly one of the guys I watched. He was in his prime during my high school days and college years. And we used to show up at school and just, hey, did y'all see what Jordan did last night? But it really does a good job of taking things off the court as well. And, I mean, last week a subplot was focused on Jordan's infatuation with gambling. 2 weeks ago, there was a whole big segment on Dennis Rodman and bringing that colorful personality into this, Bulls team that was all business and professional. So there's been different subplots along. And I think some people are surprised sometimes. They didn't know some of the things that happened. Sometimes they are told in a different way that we were like, whoa, I didn't realize it was all that. For you, has there been a wow moment, like, wow, I forgot about this, or wow, I never knew this happened?
I really didn't know. The part that I guess the wow moment for me was the Pippen part about where they kind of excluded him there in the last couple of years on his contract. Not that to you and I, $18 million wouldn't be a lot of money, but when they said he should have been making 20 to 25 a year and he had a 4-year contract at $18 million, you're talking, he should have had a 4 times that contract. And in their program, they couldn't win without Scottie Pippen. And nobody in that era was going to win without Michael. But when Michael ends up making 36 in 1 year and Pippen's making 18 over 4 years, I looked at that like, the business side of the thing, you saw why it exploded like it did. I was also a little bit shocked that they called Rodman an introvert. That one was a hard one to see, but apparently he is, like, when you're around him, because when you see what the pictures they were showing of him while they were calling him an introvert, it's there. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody with quite that split personality that far.
You're right. I mean, he's just a weird bird, and I think they portrayed him in a genuine way. I mean, maybe at one time he was really introverted, but he took on a whole different persona, and I think really just played that part to a hilt, and but still serious on the basketball court, and that comes out as well. But Coach, I guess let's talk about Michael Jordan himself. I'm of the belief that he is the greatest of all time. But when Kobe came along, Kobe Bryant, a lot of people kind of brought him into the argument. Now, certainly, he's compared to LeBron James or vice versa. And then some people think it's none of those guys. They still go back to, Bill Russell or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain or somebody like that. Where do you stand on the greatest of all time? Is it MJ? Is it somebody else?
Well, it's on that list. I'd also throw Magic Johnson into that.
True.
Into that conversation and then I think you close the door, because I think you did mention all of the guys that would be, maybe Oscar Robertson. He could be. There are people from the 60s that would say he was in there too, but I'm of the belief that Wilt Chamberlain is the best. I'm wearing the Kansas thing. He only played there 1 year. I did that on purpose for you.
Okay.
Fog Allen. The guy was such a great athlete that has been dismissed. He was the NCAA champion in the shot put. He high jumped 7 foot plus. This was in the 50s. Okay. And when he left college, he played point guard for the Harlem Globetrotters for 1 year because they wouldn't let him into the NBA yet. Then he spent 3 years of averaging 40 plus points a game and 20 plus rebounds a game when he was the only one on his team. It was taken away, I think, from him individually because Russell and the Celtics won. I don't take anything away from that. That's what you're playing the game for. And somewhat, to me, I think that's why Michael usually is the hands down GOAT, if you will, because when it came to winning time, when he went to the finals, he won. There's a lot of great players that didn't win, in their sports that might be the greatest player, but in a team sport, you got a lot of other factors involved. That's why I said that earlier about Pippen being there with Michael. Michael would not be 6-0 in the finals if he didn't have Scotty. Scotty's also 6-0 in the finals, by the way. He had that same claim. A lot of people that use the GOAT reference to Michael use, he's won the most champ. No, if you're going to go GOAT on winning, it's Russell. If you're going to go numbers, it could be Wilt. But you could go to Jabbar, who you mentioned. He's the leading all-time scorer. And also, I think he's the greatest college player ever.
Right.
And I think Bill Walton was the second greatest college player, but he got hurt in the NBA, so he's not there. The guy that transitioned for me and watching and that changed the game more than any of them was Magic. LeBron has done that kind of in his thing too. Now, Michael and Kobe, as in the last episode you're talking about, or 2 episodes ago, they contrasted a lot of that. Very much alike. So one of them, I don't think you can argue that Kobe is in Michael's thing. I personally, and I'm being a Lakers fan and LA guy, I would take Michael. But Kobe gets his, he gets his moments.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. They're all good. Well, Coach, let me ask you this specifically about Jordan. Like I said, when we would get together in high school, did you see what Jordan did last night? It was the dunk and all the things in the air and all the talent and the raw skills. But watching this Last Dance, I already knew this, but it's kind of put it in a new light for me. The one thing that stands out about Jordan is just his sheer competitiveness. And it's seen throughout the thing, whether it's golf, cards, throwing quarters. He don't like to lose. He don't like to finish second. And obviously, he's, like you mentioned, he's undefeated in the finals. But that's what stands out to me was that competitive fire, and that's what kept him going and kept him motivated.
I think that there's no doubt about that, and I would say the same thing for Kobe. It's unnatural. You hear it all the time. I do anyway, and I think most people do. Oh, he's the most competitive person I've ever met, or I'm competitive. And men, women, kids, everybody's saying that. I agree with you. Michael Jordan is the most driven to win person that you can ever hear of. Because there's an element, especially coming from somebody like me. I spent 50 years in this business. where you want to win, you think you want to win at all, but you come to grips with losing. You know, you figure out how to carry on, in other words, afterwards. I'm not sure Michael has ever figured that part out, because he is so driven to win that it carried over to business. I mean, you look at his business life, which they talk about in here. I think they're going to more in the next couple of episodes. I mean, he's a billionaire, and that's coming from Nike and Gatorade and, you know, the Be Like Mike. That might still be the single greatest slogan or motto that we'll ever come up with. Because look at what Nike is now. It was a fledgling, you know, running shoe. And then Be Like Mike came on, and it was like Nike took over the world.
No doubt. And Coach, I want to kind of get into Glenn Academy a little bit. I think we have maybe 2 or 3 minutes left, and I've got probably 5 or 6 questions left. So we'll probably won't get to them all. But obviously, you Coach Kwame Brown, and he was really a superstar from his sophomore year on. I mean, he was recruited by everybody. His junior year, he had already committed to Florida, and of course, that never happened. He went on to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft coming out after his senior year in high school. But I don't think Kwame ever had the superstar mentality, like he was going to overrule you and overrule his teammates and just do whatever he wanted to do. I think, though, there was one time when you maybe did have to put him in his place. I think he missed the bus for a road trip to Savannah, if I'm not mistaken. It kind of has a funny twist to it. Would you mind telling that story real quick?
It wasn't one time. It was a couple. And it actually was always at Bradwell Institute. So David Jones, a good buddy of mine that was coaching up there, in fact, has several state titles before and after Bradwell, was the recipient of us not playing with Kwame a few times. And anybody that's played for me, if any of them are listening, they know if we say we're leaving at 5 o'clock, we're not leaving at 4:59, but we're not leaving at 5:01. We're leaving at 5. And Kwame wasn't on the bus. So Mr. Moore, my longtime driver, if he's watching, hi, Mr. Moore, he was with me the whole time, every trip we ever took. He looked at me and I said, let's go. And he kind of said, Coach, you sure? It's like, let's go. It's 5 o'clock. We were just to the interstate here in Brunswick. We had just gotten on. I get the phone call. This is the very early days of cell phones. I didn't even have one. Somebody had one. Coach, where are you? I said, well, we're going to Bradwell, Kwame. He goes, but you left me. I said, what time is it? He goes, oh, it was only a couple minutes late. I go, all right, see you up there. And, we played the first half. We were very good. I mean, everybody knows that was around here. Do I think we probably should have won the state title. We didn't when he was a senior. The year I thought we should have won it was when he was a junior. We probably should have won it, but we didn't. But we had a good enough team that I might have said that same thing if we didn't have him. And we had the best player in the country on that team as well. But coaching Kwame was not like coaching what you hear prima donna superstars now. Kwame let me coach him. He wanted to be coached because he wanted to be better. And so did we have our differences? Yes, but no more than differences of any other players. We always got along. We still do. And, probably has a different, if you're talking to him, he'll have different stories about me where I probably did something. But we had very few of those. When it was time to play, he was ready.
Well, and speak to that, and this may be kind of the last question, but you had him as the superstar. He was kind of your Michael Jordan, if you will. And then you had several guys, like you mentioned, that could have easily been the Scottie Pippen, the Batman and Robin part of the analogy. And how did you get all those guys to really maybe take a backseat to Kwame and maybe be the second man, not the first? They could have been the superstar, and get all those guys to play their role, because you had some guys that were other good big men that rebounded. You had a true point guard in Jeff Baker. You had Antoine Andrews, who was a defensive stopper. I mean, how did you get these guys to buy into the whole system? Kind of like Phil. He had to manage all the personalities and make it work.
That's a good question. I don't know that I did it, Kevin. I think that those kids that you're talking about, that particular group, starting really when they were sophomores too, when DJ and Antoine, and that group were sophomores, they wanted to be coached. Glenn Academy had gone 20 some years without a winning season. We went 17-8 when those kids were sophomores, when DJ and Antoine were sophomores. And the next year we went 28-2. 28-2 for a school that hasn't had a winning year in 20 years is a tremendous step. And so based upon the fact that we had some early success with them, they were receptive to what we were trying to do. And, I didn't come out of the Dean Smith thing like most of the people did around here, but certainly John Wooden did the same thing. You didn't treat superstars differently in those days. Today, I think you do. Today, there's a lot of talk of coaches treating kids differently. What we did was we talked about team. Everything we did was about team. And we didn't have plays for Kwame. We might have had plays for DJ because that guy could score. But we had solid kids. Brian Henley, Jeff Baker, DJ, Kwame, Antoine, you've named a bunch of them. But even the 5 and 6 guys that came off the bench during those times, everybody accepted their role, played their role, and we didn't have bickering and, oh, you're not playing me. We didn't have that stuff. That was the one thing that I continually told other coaches. Everybody was complaining about kids today. And it was like, well, we don't have that. And I didn't have it from the parents. I think that's probably where we were stronger than most. We had such a great parent group that they let me coach their sons, and they just patted them on the back and didn't try to kick me in the rear. At the same time.
All right, Coach. Well, that was a great answer. I mean, we had a great conversation here. We do need to wrap it up because we got a whole big old show to get to. But I appreciate your time, and let's get together and play some pickleball or play some golf. Just not with your stepson Scott because he's too good for us.
I'll have to give you some points in pickleball, and you might have to give me a stroke or two in golf. But I'll be happy to go down the Jordan Road with you.
All right, Coach. Well, you take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you here soon.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more on Thursday night with 912 Sports.
We'll be right back with more of Thursday Night with 912 Sports in just a moment.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Thanks for watching Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Now, let's get back to the team.
We're going to be joined here shortly by the Gator head baseball coach, Coach Jamie Ammons. We're going to talk a little baseball. As soon as Rob can get Coach Ammons pulled up here, talk to him about there he is. Hey, Coach, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Great, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing great. Coach, first of all, let's talk about how you and your family are getting along during this pandemic. Everybody's safe? Everybody doing well over there at the Ammons household?
Everybody's great. We're Kelly and I are really enjoying spending this time with Smith. This time of year is hard for me to be at home as much as I am now, but Kelly's winding down her pregnancy, and baby number 2, Ella, will be here in about 6 or 7 weeks. So we stayed home and enjoyed some quality family time.
Right. Well, congratulations on baby number 2. I know that's a big step there, but Ammons household is growing, as they say.
That's right.
Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about, we're going to do a little senior tribute. We're going to talk about each one of you seniors here in a few minutes, but let's talk a little bit about, has any decisions been made about summer ball? Anything been done about next season? Where do we stand right now with everything going on with the pandemic?
Well, Sean, has been very interesting. About 2 weeks ago, and this is usually how this happens. One coach will send a message about scheduling for next year, and then it's the trickle down effect. And with the new region alignments and some new teams on the schedule and replacing some former non-region opponents that are now region opponents with Coffee, we started scheduling 2 weeks ago for the 2021 year, and I've actually wrapped that up, and we're working on a JV schedule right now with a kind of a knockoff of the region tournaments type deal, and doing a JV region and perhaps some JV playoffs. That's the new thing. But as far as the summer goes, we did get an email from Dr. Hines, the executive director of Georgia High School, and kind of encouraging us to be prepared for perhaps a June or even a July start back date, with restrictions and things like that. Nothing, set in stone as far as what we're going to have to do. But, just for us to go ahead and start thinking and formulating a plan on how we can get our athletes back on the grass and get going and get back to some sort of normalcy.
Right. Well, Coach, and your team was doing great. Had a couple of big wins right there before before everything hit, and I think really was poised to make a run at the region. Now, of course, we'll never know, but I just feel for these seniors. So tonight we're going to try to do a little bit of tribute. We're going to put each one of them's picture up and give you an opportunity to talk about them. And Coach, we're going to kind of go in order. We're going to start off with Ridge Bennett. Ridge was a senior for you, but talk a little bit about Ridge and what he meant to your club.
Ridge was a pitcher and right fielder. He held down a spot in the middle of the order that for 2 years. Ridge, towards the end of the region schedule, his junior year, hurt his knee and really missed some playoff time there. But Ridge was coming out to have a good senior season, and really all these guys, this group of 7 seniors really was the backbone of this program. And anytime you graduate 7, you hate to, not to reload, but that's to get, when you have to replace those guys, it is detrimental to your team, and it's next guy up. But Ridge held down right field and really held that down. He had a great arm, and teams had to respect him out in right field for that.
Right. And it's, your outfield was just tremendous all season long. I had the honor of doing all your guys' games. And another one, the next senior up is Jackson Dixon. Jackson, the play that really rings in my head is the game that you guys beat the big Florida team over in Thomasville. Had that dart that he threw from left field to throw out the go-ahead run in a game that you guys came back and won with Caleb, one of your juniors, had a walk-off home run. But without that throw from Jackson Dixon from left field, you never even get to that point.
Well, each kid, when they're my age, they're going to go back and be able to tell stories to their kids, grandkids, of what their most memorable moment sports related is. And I feel sure that that's going to be one at the high end of Jackson's list, because and even as a coach, you look for defining moments of a season. And to me, that's when you started seeing things click. About that weekend in Thomasville, we had battled the rain and missed games and things like that. And fortunately, we were able to get in that Georgia-Florida border war deal and face 2 great opponents from Florida. And that game, you remember, had some chipping back and forth. And and it was very intense, very similar to a region game. And they had the go-ahead run about to score. And Jackson, got behind the baseball on a sac fly there and threw the guy out. And next inning, Caleb led off first pitch, boom, home run. We're winning the game. So
walk it off.
Jackson played left field, played great defense. He was also, I like to use the word, he was the second leadoff hitter in the 9-hole for us. He was very sneaky and hit the fastball really well. You talk about Jackson, the one thing he liked to do at the plate was hit the fastball. He didn't want to hit a curveball very, very much because he liked to hit the fastball so well. So
exactly.
We're definitely going to hit those two guys right there on the corner spots there in the outfield.
Right. Well, one of the next guy up is Noah Hall, and Noah had a nasty curveball that he was able to throw for you with some consistency. Talk a little bit about Noah and his senior season there on the mound.
Noah, in high school sports, you like to have that guy that you can go get in the bullpen, because you really don't know what a starter is going to do all the time. You best lay plans of mice and men. We structured, Coach Smith and my staff, Coach Johnson, structured games and had a game plan going in on so-and-so was going to go 3 innings, so-and-so was going to go 5, or even numbers. But But Noah was that guy. If I needed him to go get a big out or stop for me, shut down an inning, I could go get him ready, and he was ready to go, and had strikeout stuff. That curveball, Uncle Charlie. I mean, he could throw it in any count when it was on, and that was really big for us. And Noah held down. I think it was like 15 innings so far this season in 10 games. So that was a real big, plus for our team to know that I could go count. Now, if I needed him to start, he could start. But I felt like our program was better when Noah was right there ready to go out of the pen. And he even closed the last game of the season at Brunswick in a 3-1, I think 3-2.
Yeah, 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 game. Yeah.
And really came in. I want to say he got 6 outs that night and just really pitched well. And that's another. Anytime you lose some guys on the mound that are holding those kind of innings, that's tough to replace.
Exactly. Well, next up is Mac Johnson. Mac played first base for you. Mac's a football guy, actually going to Mercer to play a little football. But Mac was another guy that helped you out on your infield.
I always like telling people that I wanted Mac to be the first one off the bus, so to give the other team a little intimidation factor. Mac did everything I asked him to do his entire career. He's the second Johnson that had played for me, and Mac just a stand-up gentleman that's going to be successful in whatever he chooses, and especially football there at Mercer, and he's got that mentality of nobody's going to beat him, and he's going to line up against somebody for 4 quarters and let him know that he's been there, and I really going to miss Mac. Mac was a big target there at first base, and so. But Matt was the silent guy that, if people didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, they could look to Mac and he was going to be doing the right thing. So that's part of that we're going to miss about Mac is his leadership.
Exactly. Well, going from first base to leadoff hitter, our next senior is Trent Thomas. And Coach Trent's a guy that played all over your infield, played a lot of shortstop for you last year, moved him over to second base this year with moving Caleb from behind the plate out to shortstop. But Trent, just a guy that had an amazing knack for getting on base for you.
He did. That's why he was in the leadoff spot. Trent was always on base, knew how to run the bases, and really a good baseball mind. Trent played every position when in his career here as the Gators. He caught, pitched, shortstop, second, and played outfield. So very versatile. Always had the dirtiest uniform at the end of the game, and you knew that he was going to play the game the right way and give you 110%. And really one of those hustle guys that he wasn't the biggest on the measuring tape, but he had the biggest heart, and I knew I was going to get what I was going to get from him, and that was him playing the game the right way.
Well, next up is old Wheels himself, Bryson Wheeler, the old speed burner. Bryson's the old workhorse, the guy that's been pitching for you for the last 3 years, and just a couple of dominating performances this year. But Bryson did great for you, mound. Played a lot at third base. But talk a little bit about Bryson.
Bryson played first and third, and we even tried to catch him a little bit last year. And then his sophomore year, he came on and DH'd some games and played left. But Bryson's a steady Eddie, and I call him the seasoned vet on the mound. When I got here, it was Bryson's junior year, and Bryson already knew how to pitch. He threw all 4 pitches for strikes and very efficient. And, talking about most memorable games of Bryson, I think it's going to be Stars Mill his junior year where he, we didn't win the game, but it was 3-1, 3-2, something like that. He had thrown 82 pitches and against the number 3 team in the state. So I was anytime your workhorse for 3 years is gone, that's going to be a lot of innings that some of these young guys are going to have to step up and really big shoes to fill, because in the days of pitch count and things like that, I knew when I gave Bryson the ball to start the game, I could count on him for 110. And sometimes that was 6 innings, sometimes it was 8, like that day in Stars Mill.
Exactly. Yeah, great job on the mound. And last up of you seniors is Dominique Williams. Dominique played some basketball, and so he kind of came to you late, but he seemed like he was your go-to guy on your pinch running, battled some injuries, but it was a great addition right there toward the end before the pandemic hit.
Dominic was a great defensive outfielder that really, like you said, struggled with some injuries throughout his career. I think he had a 2-year shoulder injury, so he was actually poised. He had been practicing, getting his arm back in shape, but Dominic had a scoring mentality. That's something when he got to third and we were getting ready for him to score, that smile, I'll never forget when he scored, he had that little grin. And that's what I like to, I'm going to remember about Dominic was his scoring mentality and how much fun that he had playing the game and just an all around great athlete.
Yeah. Well, Coach, those guys are going to be hard to replace next year. I hate that their season was taken from them because I'm like you. I think those guys were on the rise. I think they really were going to make a run at that region there. I know you still had to deal with Wayne. You still had to deal with Statesboro. You still had to deal with South Effingham. But I think this Gator team was up to the task, and I think they could have battled and had a great shot of winning that region this year.
Well, this is my third year here as leading this program. And so you're really starting to see some product of those guys having some longevity of being in the program for 3 years and replacing that nucleus of a team is going to be great. Great challenge for the young guys. But the legacy that these guys have left the program is insurmountable and that kind of deal. So we're gonna miss those guys, and I'm proud to have them play for me for 3 years and represented the Gators. The Gator way. And I know those 7 gentlemen are going to go on into their next endeavors and be successful because they know how to do things the right way.
Exactly. Well, Coach, you guys take care. Take care of the wife. Hopefully we'll be seeing a new little Ammons here pretty soon here. What are we saying? 6 weeks out? Is that about right?
7 weeks out. Yes, sir. First week in June.
First week in June. Well, congratulations again, Coach. You guys stay safe, and we'll catch up with you here down the road.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, 912 Sports.
I appreciate it. That's Coach Jamie Ammons, head coach of the Ware County Gators. But, hey, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Coastal Pines Technical College, Prime South Bank, Robbie Robertson Ford, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, and Gibson Animal Clinic. And we appreciate all of our sponsors here for Thursday nights with 912 Sports. Hey, stick around. We'll be right back here with Hannah Wise, Wayne County's track female all-sports student athlete of the year. And we'll be right back here after these messages.
We'll be right back with more of Thursday Night with 912 Sports in just a moment.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Thanks for watching Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Now, let's get back to the team.
Sports, joined here by Kevin Price. And quickly, hopefully we're going to talk to Hannah Wise. Hannah's a track star for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. Going to be taking her talents on to Georgia Southern. There she is. Hey, Hannah, how are you this evening?
Good. How are y'all?
Congratulations on winning the All Sports Award last week. Hopefully you got a chance to watch, and appreciate you doing a little vignette for us there.
Yes,
but
sir.
Talk a little bit, Hannah, about what have you been doing while everybody's been in quarantine?
I've been running a lot. That's mainly my hobby right now. I'm just trying to get ready to go to Southern, staying healthy, and just getting some miles under my feet right now.
And Hannah, let me congratulate you on the award as well. Certainly it's well deserved. That's not something we hear a lot from kids. I'm out running.
Yes, a lot of people are like, what is wrong with you?
And honestly, you enjoy it because you run cross country and track and field. But get a little more specific than that. What kind of training are you doing? How many miles do you log per day, per week? All those kinds of things.
So Coach Pemberthy, he's actually been working with all of us girls that are coming in this fall, and we all have our own individual workout plans that we're kind of doing on our own right now. I do a lot of long runs on Saturdays. That's usually my long run day. Like I have 10 miles on this Saturday, so that's going to be fun.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And we're working our way up back to 50 miles a week.
Awesome. Well, I know in at Wayne County, you ran both cross country in the fall and then you ran track in the spring. Is that the plan when you go to Georgia Southern, or are you going to concentrate on one or the other disciplines? When I go to Georgia Southern, I'll be running cross country in the fall, indoor track in winter, and then outdoor track in the spring. Yes, sir. Wow. So you're going to have 3 track seasons. Yes, sir. It's going to be fun.
Kind of talk about that, Hannah. Is that typical for the Georgia Southern distance runners? I mean, do they recruit for cross country and then also say it's kind of automatic going to run the distance events in track and field? Or are you sort of an exception?
Yeah, so that's most of our runners there are just considered distance athletes. We'll be doing cross country and track as well.
And kind of let me ask you that. Obviously, cross countries are 5K races. You're running the 800 and the 1600 in track and field. Do you have a preference, or do you just kind of take each for what it's worth and know what you got to do?
I do like going fast in track. I like that a lot. I actually have only ran 1 season of cross country. I ran my senior year of cross country, and that's all. Before that, I was a volleyball player, so I'm still getting used to cross country and the distance with that.
Interesting.
Right. Well, Hannah, when did you start running? Who do you credit to getting you into this discipline? Is it something you did as a kid or something you started in middle school? When did you start running competitively?
Well, actually, my sophomore year of high school, I was playing soccer, and Coach Broadhead and Coach Ward actually asked me to come get some points for the girls' team at region side. That was the first time I ran. And then my junior year was the first year that I ran track full time.
Yeah. And now you're going to school on a scholarship. That's
yes, it's crazy.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Hannah, I know obviously your senior season got interrupted, and I know that had to be disappointing. But in terms of summer competition, I don't know if you were going to run, some races or do some track and field events through AAU or anything like that. I mean, is any of your summer plans kind of in limbo as well?
No, sir, not really. I was going to, after state, I was going to take a few weeks to decompress, and then I was going to get right on my training for Georgia Southern.
So you're already on their regimen. I mean, they've already sent you emails or whatever and wanted you to follow along their guidelines going forward.
Yes, sir. Our distance coach has given us all workout plans, kind of suggestions of keeping us healthy, but also getting miles in right now at this limbo time where we don't really have anything to do.
Awesome.
And Hannah, I know Georgia Southern's obviously in Statesboro, not too far away from Jessup. Yes, so, you're kind of going from one good little South Georgia town to another one. But talk about, I don't know how many other offers you had or any other schools that you may have considered, but just kind of sell Georgia Southern to us and to everybody else. What was it that you liked about Southern there in Statesboro?
I had a few other offers, but I was really sold on Georgia Southern when I got to visit there and see the coaches as well. I just love the small town feel of Statesboro because my sister and my mom are both alumni from there. So I'm familiar with the area and Georgia Southern athletics. And just the coaches were just down to earth, and I loved them and the girls that I got to meet. I just felt like that was a fit for me.
Well, great. Well, congratulations, Hannah. We're going to follow along with you as you go off to Georgia Southern. Good luck in your endeavors. Hopefully, you're going to get to go in the fall.
Yes, sir.
We've all got our fingers crossed. There's been some positive signs, but we don't want to count our chickens just yet. But it would be great if you guys are able to go to campus in the fall. Like we all hope that we're going to be at that situation, but we'll just have to wait and see. But congratulations on your big award last Thursday, and then congratulations on the scholarship, and good luck over at Georgia Southern.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. And Sean, we hope that she gets to watch some good Georgia Southern football as well.
There you go.
Of course.
Congrats, Hannah.
Thank y'all.
All righty. Thanks a lot. That's Hannah Wise, a runner for Wayne County Yellow Jackets, who's going on to Georgia Southern. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back here and finish out the show with Ware County Gator head coach Jason Strickland, talk a little bit of recording. But I want to thank our sponsors, Robbie Robertson Ford, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, and Coastal Pines Technical College. And we'll be right back here after these messages.
We'll be right back with more of Thursday Night with 912 Sports in just a moment.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school and homeschool students in grades 9 through 12, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Thanks for watching Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Now, let's get back to the team.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and we joined here shortly by the Ware County Gators head coach, Coach Jason Strickland. We're going to talk a little bit about recruiting that's going on right now. There he is. Hey, Coach, how you doing tonight, buddy? Oh, I think, Rob, maybe we got him muted or we got a little audio issue there. Errors of the internet, as they say. Evidently, he can hear me. We just can't hear Coach, but we'll see see if we can get his mic turned on here real quick. But it's kind of a weird time for high school football right now because really this would be, spring practice, a lot of schools getting out and about, seeing kids in person. And, of course, with the COVID-19, all that's kind of been put on hold. So it's going to be real interesting to talk to Coach and figure out what schools are doing. Are they just looking at film or guys coming around or exactly how they're going about it, if they're even, extending offers and that sort of thing. Coach, you got back with us or you still There you go. We got you a little bit there. Not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So
yeah, we'll make it work.
All right. Well, Coach, we're just talking about recruiting. It's kind of a weird time. It's a weird time for everything, but I mean, this would be one of your busiest parts of the year for recruiting. So talk a little about what are schools doing? Are they asking for tape? Are they requesting tape? Or how are they getting the looks of these high school seniors that are going to come into their programs next year?
Yeah, I'll say, Sean, one of the disappointing things about us not being able to have spring football was we were expecting probably about 70 colleges really from all over the country to watch us practice. Wow. And so it was going to be, obviously an exciting time with that many folks on campus. It didn't happen. Every high school's dealing with it right now. But number one, Seth Boyer is our recruiting coordinator, and he does an unbelievable job. Coaches linebackers for us, also our special teams coordinator. But he does a terrific job of getting all that film out, and none of that has changed. And I'll say also on the college side of it, really none of it has changed with them, with the exception of they're not making the in-campus visits. I mean, it is still steady conversations on the phone just about all day long with one college or another doing evaluations of our student athletes. And, with everything that's kind of going on, this is still something that kind of puts a smile on your face when you look down and you see, hey, it's, Auburn, Alabama, or it's Clemson, South Carolina, or whoever it may be that's calling to get some information on some of your guys.
Right. Well, one of your big players, your middle linebacker that we've all known for years is going to play at the next level. Michael Benson's been getting a lot of looks, been getting a lot of offers. I don't know what he's up to, Coach, but it's got to be north of 30 or right at 30 right now. And we're not talking about, and nothing's wrong with, with D2 schools, but we're talking about SEC big-time offers that Michael's been getting. But talk a little bit about what has really opened up the floodgates for him, so to speak.
Well, I think, number one, his film. Yeah, I mean, it's just – his junior film and what he played, it seemed like all year long with some sort of nagging injury, whether it was a groin issue or a hip flexor or a hand issue, I mean, whatever it was, but he just battled through. And when you turn the film on, the one thing that every coach says, immediately when they call us, Coach, it takes about two seconds and you realize, wow, this is a Power 5 guy. And early on, we were getting a ton of calls from schools really all over the country And then, all of a sudden he got a couple SEC pops there, and folks, I may miss a call, or I'd get an email of, hey, Coach, can you give me a call? And I would make a phone call, and they'd go, hey, Coach, we were interested in Michael, but we just saw that he got a couple SEC offers.
Right.
But, he's got, stuff still with the Sun Belt. I know Georgia Southern is still very, very high on his list, in state there. And, he's a guy that's got to sit down and make a very informed decision. He's got a great mom that's playing a very active role in that. And he's a smart kid, so he'll wind up in a really good situation.
Right. Well, Coach, and Michael's not the only guy. You got Eli Cade, TK Norton, Cartavius Norton. Talk a little bit about some of your other guys that are getting looks for on the recruiting trail.
Well, I think one of the things that's helped Eli is how hard he worked from last spring until right now. And I'll say, I've told college coaches this. When we got here in the spring, and I watched him day one of our spring practice, I thought, man, this guy's big, but I don't know if he'll ever play for us. And, we got through the summer, and he just looked like he got better and a little better. By the time we got to August, he was competing really for a starting job. And, by the time the season really got going, he's out there. And he was one of those guys that just, we talk about how important practice is. Well, he got better every day at practice. And he's going to be one of those cats that, you try to explain to somebody how big a human being is, but until you can actually lay eyes on him. And I tell everybody, he looks like a cartoon. He's so big, but he's going to have some really good opportunities. He's had really folks from all over the place calling about him. I was on the phone with Lenore Ryan yesterday, probably for 20 minutes talking about Eli. But he will be a guy that he needs to have a really good senior year. He knows he's got some things that he needs to work on. But if he takes care of his business, he's going to have some really, really good things stemming out there for him.
Exactly.
We look at TK Norton, is one of those guys that I think was a sleeper guy a little bit last year, was a little bit under the radar with some of the personalities we had back there in the secondary with Jerry Butler and Kevin Weatherspoon and, some of those guys. But TK is one of those cats that, once we kind of really figured out what fit him best, he just took off. And what everybody has called us that loves about his film is his physicality. He don't mind striking, and he's a good man cover guy. And everybody with the age of RPOs, one of the ways that folks are trying to defend RPOs is through man coverage, and he can do it. And he'll be another guy that is going to have a great senior year, and he'll be playing on Saturday somewhere. Rodney Davis, we know, is another one of those stack linebackers that's returning along with Michael Mincy, that's starting to get a lot of action, and he's going to be another cat that has a big senior year that'll land. And Jalen Melvin's a guy that I'm telling everybody to keep your eye on. The off season that Jalen was having, playing basketball, was out there with track running the 400 meters, and that's a gut heart. I mean, you better have some heart to run that race the way he runs it. He is what we're kind of doing offensively. Some of the changes we're making, he's going to be a key part of that thing, and he's going to be a guy that's going to have I think a huge senior year that's going to kind of fit him right in for a college somewhere to take him. And then you take a look at a couple of our young guys. Obviously, Thomas Castellanos has got some things going on. He's been offered by Georgia Tech and Kansas and some other schools. And Thomas will have to make some decisions, and he knows that, but he doesn't have to be in a rush with anything. And Cartavius Norton's another one, the tailback that is really starting to have some conversation. And we think Kazir McCoy is going to be out there as well, just simply because, you blow the whistle, the sucker can run. And folks are always looking for speed. The other thing I want to throw out there is Tony Buffet, defensive lineman for us. This past season had an unbelievable year. We were kind of left scratching our head a little bit why he didn't have something early on, but he did sign with Shorter University this week. So he's going to continue that with a great education system up at Shorter, and he'll go up there and just be dominant from the day he walks on campus.
Yeah, Shorter's getting a heck of a player right there, that's for sure, with Tony. He was one of our Coastal Pines players of the week for one of his defensive performances. So I know he's definitely a cat that can get it done. Well, Coach, you guys did have some additions to your coaching staff I know you wanted to talk about, but talk a little bit about your new hire there at for the Gators football staff.
Well, we stole one, I can tell you, buddy. We got David Penders coming in to help coach our secondary, and kind of crazy. David played for me when I was an assistant coach at Charlton. And, man, it was an unbelievable player. Went on to sign a scholarship with Purdue and was a 4-year starter up at Purdue University. Played a little while in the league with the Philadelphia Eagles. And we've been meeting with David over the course of the last week or so. Man, you want to talk about hitting a home run. Number one, just an unbelievable human being. But number two, the amount of knowledge that he can bring to our football program and be able to help our young men to develop, number one, into elite football players. But maybe the bigger thing is being elite young men. Man, we have absolutely stolen one from Charlton, and we appreciate him letting him get away. But more importantly, we appreciate Coach Bender making the decision to come on with us and be a Gator. We are jacked up about it.
All right. Well, Coach, you guys stay safe. Keep it up. There's no sense in asking you about football because we all know what the answer is. Hurry up and wait. Hopefully we're going to get some news.
We're getting close. Everybody's
We'll know a lot more on June 1st than we knew on May 1st. So let's just get to June 1st, and then we'll have some stuff to talk about. But Coach, you guys stay safe. Appreciate everything you do. Appreciate everything your wife does. They did a great job today with honors program. So hats off to all that crew that put that together. Again, we appreciate everything you do. Again, you guys stay safe, and we'll catch up with you here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, to talk about some really good news.
There you go. Hey man, appreciate you and Rob and Kevin, all you guys for what y'all do for high school athletics, and not just football, but high school athletics in general, man. Can't say.
Buddy, all right, buddy, we appreciate it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Appreciate everybody watching. Hey, we appreciate our sponsors: Robbie Robertson Ford, Coastal Pines Technical College, Gibson Animal Clinic, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, and Prime South Bank. We appreciate all those guys. Appreciate Rob and everything he does behind the scenes. Appreciate Kevin. Great interview with Coach Dan there, talking a little bit about the last dance. Appreciate Hannah Wise. Good luck to her over at Georgia Southern. And congratulations to all the seniors there at Ware County for the baseball team. And congratulations to Coach Ammons on the new addition there to the family. But we'll be right back here next Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So y'all come on back and join us for Thursday nights with 912 Sports. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Gibson Animal Clinic, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Coastal Pines Technical College, and Prime South Bank. Special thanks to the Golden Isles College and Career Academy,